conferenced out. But what I'm going to be announcing in this next announcement is really going to be something new and different that nobody's heard of before. How many people here are familiar with automotive digital marketing? Everybody? Okay, so automotive digital marketing, I started it in early January 2008 with a very simple mission: to have a real neutral online community, a true community, that everybody could share best practices. We welcomed vendors. At the time I was working for ADP Dealer Services, I reached out to our primary competitors and I said, come on in, the water's warm. In those days, Brian, I think I even considered you a competitor. And I said to Brian, come on in, the water's warm. Let's show what we have to the entire industry so that everybody benefits. Because I am one of those people that believe that a rising tide lifts all boats in the harbor. And so with that said, the last 4 years I've seen an amazing transformation in our industry where we've gone from, in many ways, similar to the way our customers have gone. We've gone from a scarcity of information available to only those who are willing to pay to an era where the information is freely available online at sites such as Automotive Digital Marketing, Dealer Elite, Dealer Refresh, Driving Sales, all these great online networks and communities. So today, I'm up here to make what I believe is a very significant industry announcement. How many of you are aware of a site called Dealer Elite? Dealer Elite, okay? So Dealer Elite started a couple years after ADM. A good friend of mine, Chris Saraceno, the Chief Operating Officer to this day of the Kelly Auto Group with dealerships in Florida and in Eastern Pennsylvania. Chris had come to me and asked me for guidance. He says, I want to build a community like what you built at ADM, but I want to build it on a little bit different slant. I want it to be less focused on marketing and more focused on dealership operations. So for the next 2 years, I worked with Chris for a fee, under contract, to help him build the Dealer Elite community. The good news is that as of April 15th, Chris and I formed a new company called Automotive Media Partners, Inc. It's now become my full-time job to be the president of Automotive Media Partners, and we joined the two sites together for the betterment of the industry. There are a handful of you were in my last workshop with Patrick Kelly from Car Research, where we talked about the dynamics of the new flow of information around how to become more competitive and operate more effectively in your dealerships. Because today, that information is available at sites such as ADM and Dealer Elite, and no charge to you because they are paid for by the sponsorships of the advertisers. As many of you realize, the fee that you pay to come to Automotive Boot Camp, the $59 room rate does not leave a lot of room for profit. What actually makes all these things go are those sponsorships you see over in the exhibit hall. So what's happening is we've now evolved into an industry where the suppliers are now subsidizing the education of the dealers. And what's going to make that work is when we keep it in an open environment where criticism is welcomed, where new ideas are welcomed and encouraged, and where people at the dealership level are free to say that worked or that did not work. So ADM and Dealer Elite have joined forces. And a big part of what we've decided to do, and I'll be the first to tell you, there's a long list of supporters that we have that are encouraging us and funding this venture. Our first event is AutoCon 2012. Now we have a very simple mission for what will become a series. AutoCon 2012, AutoCon 2013, AutoCon 2014, so on and so forth. AutoCon is an abbreviation for AutoConnections Conference and Expo. Anybody here has ever heard, I'm curious because I don't expect any hands to go up, but has anybody here ever heard of PubCon? PubCon. Anybody, handful in the room. Anybody here ever hear of Comic-Con? Comic-Con, okay? Well, get used to it because we are going to build AutoCon into the biggest event in the auto industry. And I'm not going to mention other events, but I'm going to tell you that this is going to be the biggest event in the auto industry. We're committed to it. I am devoting my life to it. Chris Saraceno's committed to it. and we have some very deep pocket funding committed to this. So the interesting thing I'm here to announce today is that all of you have the opportunity to attend the first AutoCon. And for attendees of Automotive Boot Camp, there's going to be discounts. Now, some of the things that we have in mind for AutoCon, which will be held at the Mirage right here in Las Vegas, September 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2012, the first AutoCon. Basically, we're going to set this up, and you might all recall that I just briefly mentioned where sponsors are supporting the education of dealers. So what we're going to do with AutoCon is you will get vouchers, good for products and services from sponsors that'll be in excess of the registration fees. So we are setting this up. We've already negotiated. I shouldn't say we've already negotiated. We've seen the wisdom of hiring first-class educators, Harry Hemphill, to be the producer of this event. She is going to be the person in charge of all the logistics and all the event schedule and all the coordination. Now, I just want to ask all of you, has Carrie and her team done a good job at Automotive Boot Camp? Are we making the right decision by hiring first-class educators to produce the biggest event in the auto industry? Thank you very much, because I'm very pleased and very proud to announce that Carrie and the first-class educators team are the official producers of AutoCon, okay? And I have every confidence that this event is going to be the biggest and the best. So with that said, a couple of things. First of all, and I want to tip my hat